Hello to everyone. So first, I will ask if you hear me well. If you can confirm if you hear me well, we're gonna start. We're gonna begin this webinar in a very few minutes. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for confirming that you can hear me well. So my name is Gisela Chiarella, and I am part of the recruitment team at MIB Trieste School of Management. And I will be glad to introduce you to the city of Trieste, which is a very beautiful and dynamic city that will be your home during your studies at MIB Trieste School of Management, of course, if you choose to join on campus. So over the next 30 to 45 minutes, I'll introduce you to Trieste's unique characteristic, its strategic location, its lifestyle, and why. I will try to explain you why Trieste is a great place to live and study. So to go on, we start with where is Trieste located? So Trieste is located in the northeastern part of Italy. It is right on the Adriatic Sea, and it is very near to the borders with Slovenia and Croatia. So we believe this location is a strategic position. Why a strategic position? Because it makes Trieste a cultural crossroads, which is influenced not only by Italian, but also has the influence of Central European and Balkan traditions. Trieste is a position that it is easily accessible from major European cities, and this makes it a hub for travel and business. So now, some must-know facts about Trieste. It is the capital of the Friuli Venezia Giulia, and it has a rich history which is shaped by its Austro-Hungarian past. Trieste is a cosmopolitan city. It is known for its cultural heritage and coffee traditions, but it is also known as a major hub for the insurance industry. With a population of 204,000, it offers a lively yet manageable urban environment. Let's talk about the quality of life in Trieste. Let's talk about the quality of life in Trieste. So, Il Sole 24 Ore, which is an Italian financial journal, in 2022 ranked Trieste as the best Italian city for the quality of life. While the years passed by since 2022, it consistently ranks among the top Italian cities thanks to its safety, cleanliness, and also it has excellent public services. Also, I would say that the balance between work, studies, but also leisure is something remarkable in Trieste. But Trieste is also a city of science. So why is this? It's also known as the city of science because it hosts over 30 research institutions, including the International School for Advanced Studies, known as CISA, for example, and also the Trieste Science Park. And more than 50% of researchers come from abroad. So this makes Trieste a global hub also for innovation. Now let's say, about my favorite part of Trieste, which is basically that it is a city that offers both urban life and also nature. So you can see in this slide that Trieste is surrounded by the sea on one side, but on the other side, it is surrounded by the green Carso. Also, we have two very interesting and historical castles that you can see in this slide. So these two castles are the most famous in the city. In the left side, you can see Miramare Castle, and in the right side, you can see San Giusto Castle, and both of them offer stunning views of the city and, of course, also historical significance. And what about museums? So Trieste is, of course, also home to many museums that cover diverse topics. So from history and art to science and literature, just to mention some of them. We're not going to mention all the museums because there is a big and large diversity of museums. But for example, notable mentions will include the Revoltella Museum, the National Antarctic Museum, and the Joyce Museum, which is the Joyce Museum celebrates the Irish writer James Joyce, who lived in Trieste for many years. And what about theaters? Of course, Trieste has a strong cultural scene with venues such as Teatro Verdi, that you can see at the left, and Teatro Rossetti on the right. These theaters host performances ranging from, let's say, famous opera or historical opera, and also modern theater, of course. Also, the cafes. We have many historic cafes in Trieste. You can see, for example, Café San Marco, Café Tomaseo, Café degli Specchi, and these are cafes that have been here in Trieste for centuries. You can imagine that intellectuals and artists have gathered really for centuries in these historical cafes. And of course, as traditional citizens, we still gather also in these cafes. So, what about the food? For me, the typical food in Trieste is a really, let's say, the perfect blend, because it offers a rich culinary tradition, which it's blending not only Italian but also Austrian and Slavic influences. So, and of course, you can also find international food. Aperitivo. The aperitivo time is is something very usual here in Trieste. So this to just give you a brief idea about the gastronomy in Trieste. And of course, we have to talk about Barcolana, which is the major and must-visit event that it takes place every October in Trieste. But what is the Barcolana, you might be thinking? So Barcolana is the world's largest sailing regatta. It really attracts thousands of boats and visitors every year. So in the first weekend of October, that it is like the days that usually host this event, you can see thousands of boats, like you can see in the image. You can really see it like in presence here, and of course a lot of people and a lot of movement around the city. Then to go on, we will talk about transportation. So what about transportation in Trieste? I would say that it is one of the most positive things. In what sense? That first, Trieste is a city that is very walkable. It's very easy to walk around Trieste, because even though it's like a cosmopolitan city in the sense of how interculturally it is and how international it is not tremendously big, let's say. So it is very walkable, and also, of course, because it's a safe city. So for these main reasons, I can tell you that it is very easy to walk around. But even though if it is a walkable city, the public transportation system works pretty good, including buses and also the rent of bicycles. Also, there is the historic tramway. It's called the Opicina tramway, that was closed for many years, and they recently opened after, I believe, 7 or 8 years. And of course, this tram is also an iconic way to explore Trieste. So now we're going to talk briefly about our school. Of course, Trieste is not only home for, let's say, the coffee and insurance industry, or home for scientific research centers, but it is also home for our school, MIB Trieste School of Management. Just to give you a brief introduction, we are a non-profit consortium. We were founded in 1988 by academic and business partners. So at MIB Trieste, we offer MBAs. We offer specialized master programs, such as, for example, the Master in Insurance and Risk Management. We also offer corporate master's degrees, executive education, executive programs, and all of these programs that we offer at MIB are accredited and certified on the world's top programs. We are located, you can see the palace, the yellow palace at the right. like that's from the external part, and then you can see some insides of our palace. So our palace is named Ferdinandeo Palace, and it is one of the most prestigious and historic buildings in Trieste. So if you choose to join us, of course, on campus, this palace, this historic and prestigious palace of Trieste would be almost your second home in Trieste. And something very nice, it is that it is surrounded by a big and beautiful wood. So you can imagine coming to lessons and lectures every day at the school and be surrounded by these woods. We believe at MIB Trieste that our international environment, our strong corporate partnerships, and also our faculty make us a hub for preparing effective global managers. Okay, so now we will move to cost of living that you might be thinking, okay, yes, the school, the nature, the sea, Il Carso, the green parts of Trieste, everything sounds great, but what about the cost of living? So in this slide, you can see some of, let's say, the expenses that you should consider when moving to Trieste. So, of course, we acknowledge that living costs in Trieste and anywhere in the world will always depend on each person's lifestyle. But to give you, let's say, an average monthly expenses, which include rent, food, and transportation, may start from 700 to 800 euro per person. Please also take into consideration that we have a cafeteria here at MIB, and our cafeteria offer affordable meal options for the students, like complete lunch with a price around 6 to 7 euro. Okay, so now what about accommodation? I would say that finding accommodation in Trieste is accessible in the sense that students can find rooms that they can rent in shared apartments, but also, of course, you can find single apartments, so not sharing, in several platforms. So, for example, Housing Anywhere, the local newspapers, Solo Affitti, Subito, Idealista, Immobiliare. These are just some platforms that are housing platforms. We also have the website of Welcome Office, which is that regional, let's say, Welcome Office from Friuli Venezia Giulia, which provides support for international students. And of course, here at the MIB Trieste School of Management, we also help our students with finding accommodation. Okay, something also that it is one of my favorite parts about Trieste, about living in Trieste, I would say, is its proximity to amazing, really beautiful travel destinations. For example, Venice is just 2 hours away by car or by train. Then you have, for example, destination as Austria, Slovenia, and Croatia that are just within short drive or a bus ride. So this makes weekend getaways something very easy and accessible. Now we are coming to the end of this presentation about Trieste, and of course we thought that maybe providing you with some links would be useful for you to further explore Trieste. So, for example, we have here some platforms such as Turismo Friuli Venezia Giulia, In Trieste Magazine, or the portal Discover Trieste. I'm gonna share later with you these links on the chat so you can see them and have access to it, because these platforms basically offer useful guides. They offer event listings and also recommendations on how to explore the city. So I would say that there are useful links that you can have with you. As I said, I will share them on the chat box. And so we've came to the final part of this presentation about Trieste. I hope this session has given you an insightful introduction to the city that will be probably your hometown in some sense if you decide to join us on campus. And of course, we'll leave the floor for you also to ask questions. If in case you have them, you can write your questions in the chat. Or also there is a Q and answers panel also in any case. So if you have questions, I also have my colleagues with me, program managers colleagues with me that will be also Victoria Bles and Barbara Vidotto that will be happy to answer several questions with me. Let's see if we have any questions.
Yes, for sure. We will be sharing the presentation, that you were asking about it. So I will be sending to you the presentation. And of course, if you do have any further information that you request on the city, of course, you can get back to us.
And she's also saying, in love with the seasides already. Yes, that happens to anyone, I think, that
You're
comes
right.
to Trieste. They fall
You're
in
right.
love with the sides.
Especially today that finally we have the sun shining. So it's a lovely day here in Trieste with a very bright sky and ready for a walk on the seaside.
Okay, perfect. So I sent the links that are also maybe useful for you to better explore Trieste. You can find them in the chat. But anyway, as my colleague Barbara was saying before, we will share the presentation with you. And of course, you will also have access to those links in the presentation. Maybe, I don't know, if we wait some few seconds, minutes, if we receive questions. Luca Garofalo says, thanks for this nice webinar. Now I have to go back to work. See you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining. We hope to see you soon. So we received a question, not quite about, not exactly and specifically about Trieste, but it says, can I ask if the tuition fee for the MIRM course is 25,000 euro and there are no additional costs? So who wants to answer this question?
Maybe I can.
Okay,
so
perfect.
yes, I confirm that the course tuition fee is 25,000 euro. Of course, you have to consider the possibility of being granted a tuition waiver, which can cover up to 70% of the tuition fee. Regarding the course, there are no additional costs. It might be some cost if you're willing to buy the books, which are the reference books of the specific courses, but you can as well decide to take it from our library. So there is no obligation for you to buy the books. Of course, you have to consider all the expenses related to the program, which is, of course, your traveling expenses to come here, of course, board and lodging expenses. You have, excuse me, to consider the costs for the visa application, for the permit of stay once you will be here in Italy, the health insurance. There are, if I'm not wrong, 160 euro of taxes which have to be paid. Additionally to the 25,000 euros. So there are few additional costs, but basically the program is 25,000 euro. Once again, I would like to underline that everyone who applied will be considered for the tuition waiver, even though you already have done the selection process and the motivational interview. If you're now in the stage of the review from the admission board, for sure you will receive the final feedback with the economic conditions as well included in the admission letter. So for you to have a clear idea of which will be the expenses that you will face and the opportunity that you might have. I would like just to add an information which is related to the early bird discount. We are running out of time for this opportunity since it's valid till the end of March. So for those who will be, who already, let's say, took advantage, who already completed the selection process, it's fine. For those still waiting for the feedback or waiting to confirm the participation, please take note of this date, and I would suggest you to take the opportunity to be granted this additional early bird discount. Additional because it is added to your tuition waiver.
Thank you very much, Barbara, for answering the question. Well, we received another one saying, can you suggest some activities in Italian to to improve my language skills while pursuing my master's degree. Does MIB offer any language-related activities? Okay, so I think I can provide the answer. Then if you want to add something, of course. So basically, during the calendar and the curriculum of the masters, there is not such subjects as a Italian course, but there are free Italian lessons in Trieste at the public library. That if I'm not wrong, it's every Wednesday, like from 7 p.m. So that would be after the lessons here at MIB, and they are let's say a good option for learning Italian. And they're, as I said before, they are totally free. Of course, also other options, as I would say, some online lessons that are available also, yes, in the internet. And also, maybe I don't know if this happens, maybe you will confirm it, Barbara, but of course the class is usually, so it's very international, right? Not only Italian students participating in the class, but of course we also have students that are Italian. And I imagine that they end up, like international students, they somehow end up learning a little bit of Italian, or at least speaking basic Italian.
Yes, for sure. We invite those interested in developing the skills, the Italian language skills, to take the opportunity to speak with their colleagues, with us. I always like to share an example of an international student a few years ago who had the target to learn and to improve her Italian skills. And we decided to have a monthly coffee together, speaking in Italian. So speaking about the weather, about how things were going. So nothing professional, nothing very formal, but just an informal way to have the opportunity to speak. Of course, if you are in an international environment, it might be difficult, but consider that you are in Italy. So while going shopping and living the normal life in Trieste, even though Trieste is a multicultural city, as Gisela was saying, you will have to force yourself to speak a bit in Italian. So the question is coming from Mariano, which, if I'm not wrong, already speaks a bit of Italian. So for sure, you will have the opportunity to improve it a lot during your stay here in Trieste.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome. I saw a question from Tuye about the
yes.
timing of the final feedback. For sure, by the end of this week, at the latest beginning of next week. I'm sorry, we had some delays in the reviewing of the admission board due to some illness of the board members. So we are a bit late in sharing the final feedback, but for sure it will be delivered in the coming days. It will be a positive feedback.
Nice. Great, thank you.
I spoiled it.
Thank you very much.
I saw that Hilary just joined the webinar, maybe a bit late. So I invite Hilary. I will be sending to all of you the presentation, so you will have the opportunity to both review the webinar and have the slides available. So if you do have any questions, just feel free to come back to us.
Yes, by now we're not receiving further questions, not on the chat nor on the Q&A panel. So I would just like to thank you all for participating in this webinar. We really hope that it was an insightful introduction of what Trieste is, and that you got an idea of the unique characteristics of this beautiful and dynamic city. As Barbara already said, we will be sending you the presentation. And so again, thank you, and we hope to see you soon here.
Right. Gisela, sorry if I just interrupt you. I just wanted to anticipate that, of course, this is just the first webinar of a series of webinars we will be running from now till the beginning of the program on a monthly basis. So you will soon receive the invitation to take part to the second webinar, which will be dedicated to the meeting with the director of your program. So the MBA director, for those in the pipeline of the MBA or already confirmed the attendance to the MBA and the MIM director. So you will receive, as I said, soon the invitation. We really hope that you will be able to join that webinar as well and to have the opportunity to meet and to ask questions to the directors. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. So we will be in touch in the next few days and months for sure.
For sure.
Okay. Thank you very much to both and for everyone for participating. Until the next webinar then. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.